In this discussion, we review an interesting manhwa. This manhwa is titled Your Talent is Mine. This manhwa tells the story of several monsters that descend to Earth. Starting from there, humans get supernatural powers to fight these monsters. And the main character is very unlucky because he only gets the weakest talents. But one day all that changed because suddenly he could see a system that gave him the talent to copy someone's talent. Since then everything has changed. Then how does the story go? We start the storyline. The story begins with a dream that Ye Tian had. In this dream, there is a monster disaster that ravages the city. Everyone fled to save their own lives. Meanwhile, Ye Tian, who saw this monster, could only remain silent. Then suddenly his hand radiated an energy that was completely unknown to him. Then he felt excruciating pain all over his body. And after that he woke up from his sleep. Of course, Ye Tian was surprised. He was confused about what he dreamed just now. Was it the result of awakening talent? A few moments later his room door was knocked on by a girl who was none other than his sister named Ye Yu. Ye Yu asked if Ye Tian was awake. Then, like the story at the beginning, Ye Tian got the results of the talent measurement he obtained. He obtained low-level talent. Then Ye Yu entered his brother's room while asking what was the result of Ye Tian's talent measurement, because he didn't want to disappoint his younger sister's expectations. Ye Tian replied that the result was amazing. Hearing this good news, Ye Yu was happy. Then Ye Yu invited his sister to have breakfast because he had already made Ye Tian's favorite dish. Then suddenly a system window appeared in front of Ye Tian's eyes. In this system window, Ye Tian could see Ye Yu's information as well as his talent. Suddenly, this made Ye Tian shocked. Ye Yu, who saw his brother was stunned, immediately pulled Ye Tian's hand to get out. But at the same time, a window appeared again. This time a window contained that Ye Yu's talent could be copied by Ye Tian. The system asked if Ye Tian wanted to copy the talent of his younger sister. Ye Tian didn't expect that his talent would be very useful to him. Now he still has a hope to survive and protect Ye Yu. Then now at the dinner table, Ye Tian decided not to copy the talent of his younger sister as a trial. Because of the talent possessed by Ye Yu will surely be able to dominate his opponents. So he was very grateful. In his heart, he called his father and mother. He said maybe if his parents were still alive, they would be very happy to know this. Then after Ye Tian went out, he intended to try his talent. Then he uses his ability to spread radar. Thanks to all that, now he can see all the talents possessed by the people around him. But it's a shame all these people's talents are trash talents. Such talent, it is not good for Ye Tian to copy their talents. Ye Tian thought about whether he should go to the academy. But if he went to the academy and copied other people's talent, maybe later Ye Tian's talent would change. Then an idea crossed his mind. He would go to Linhai Academy's 5th base. Certainly in Linhai Academy, there will be many people who have mid-level talents. He firmly believes that he will become stronger than all of them in the future, because Ye Tian has talent like a cheat. 10 days had passed, and now in the 5th Academy's Martial Stadium, Ye Tian was with the other students doing the training. They were currently doing bodybuilding training. If they can make a whirlwind in front of their chest, then they will pass. One by one the students started to fall unconscious. But the training instructor here didn't care about the scum. Just now, he told the other students to stay focused on forming their vortices. Here Ye Tian, who had tried very hard, never succeeded either. In his heart, he wondered if this was all because the talent he had was so weak, then because the students couldn't get the instructor to stop his practice. It can be seen that only Ye Tian is still surviving. The instructor was very disappointed in his students because the students he trained turned out to be trash. He hoped that all of them would not be lazy and continue to work hard, not forgetting that he also ordered them to be able to follow in the footsteps of their senior named Chen Dong. Then after the training, Ye Tian was with his friend named Zhang Bao. Ye Tian asked who was senior Chen Dong. Zhang Bao replied that the person was no ordinary person. This Chen Dong only needed a short amount of time to become an apprentice-level martial warrior, and it was the headmaster himself who had appointed him as his student. A few moments later, the new students began to gather. When they saw Chen Dong, Zhang Bao immediately went to ask for his autograph. Ye Tian was very excited because he finally found prey that his talent could copy. Therefore Ye Tian would not miss it. Ye Tian was going to shake hands with Chen Dong. Then because the juniors seemed crazy about him, with a smile Chen Dong asked everyone to calm down. Chen Dong came here because he wanted to motivate them all. Then Ye Tian asked if they could shake hands. Of course, Chen Dong agreed. Now they began to line up. After waiting for their turn, now finally came to the section to shake hands. Then after shaking hands, Ye Tian was immediately happy because he finally got talent from Chen Dong. Later, in the middle of heavy rain in a cave, Ye Tian saw a blurry system window. This system window asks whether Ye Tian will copy Chen Dong's talent. Currently, Ye Tian is still confused because he remembers his dream before. But Ye Tian chooses to be ignorant. Instantly his energy now enveloped Ye Tian's body. Then the pain that radiated from the heart throughout his body accompanied the copying process. The pain was so intense that Ye Tian screamed so loudly. He didn't expect that the fusion of talents would be so painful for him. Finally, the copying process is complete. With a smile full of satisfaction, Ye Tian said that the pain he received was worth the results he got. Then a system window popped up again notifying Ye Tian that this talent of copying Ye Tian had a cooldown of 30 days. So that means Ye Tian can only copy one talent once every 30 days. In his heart, Ye Tian was very happy because his talent was indeed extraordinary. After that, Ye Tian started to do the body training that he did at the academy earlier. And now Ye Tian can easily create a vortex in front of his chest. In this way, he was sure he would become the greatest martial warrior. Now a month has passed. Now in the bright moonlight, you can see a wolf monster that appears to threaten the lives of those around it. Here Ye Tian was on his way home. Ye Tian had crossed paths with a father and son pair who looked happy. But the joy didn't last long because suddenly the father of the child was attacked by a wolf monster and died instantly. Seeing his lifeless father, this child could only remain silent. Meanwhile, other people who saw the appearance of monsters fled for their safety. Ye Tian, who saw the monster in front of him for the first time, was only stunned. Then when the monster wanted to pounce on the child, Ye Tian immediately saved him. But the speed of this wolf monster was too fast for Naya. Luckily, a hunter appeared from above. The hunter immediately slashed at the monster. This hunter is called Captain Gale Wolf. The hunter apologized for coming late. He asked Ye Tian to run away and protect the child. After that, the Gale Wolf advanced to attack the wolf monster. The two of them clashed with each other. Then the members of the Gale Wolf team came to help him. Which seems difficult, but the speed of this monster is extraordinary. But this monster can avoid the siege attacks from the Gale Wolf team. And now the monster wolf was pouncing toward the Gale Wolf. Then Gale Wolf's sword managed to penetrate the body of this monster. But this monster is still alive. In fact, now it has entered second mode. Instantly a huge burst of energy caused everyone nearby to be thrown. When everyone was away from this monster at full speed tried to escape. But with a confident smile, Gale Wolf said that the monster would not be able to escape anywhere because a member of the team who used arrows had been waiting for the time to shine. The arrow he released, the arrow shot toward the wolf monster. Instantly this wolf fell limp to the road. Seeing the fight, Ye Tian was very amazed. But now he was very surprised because it turns out that he can also see the talent of the wolf monster earlier. Then suddenly, when all the members of the middle team were off guard, it turned out that this wolf still had power. This monster started to get angry. Immediately the Gale Wolf asked all of its members to refocus, not forgetting that he also asked Ye Tian to leave immediately because it would be dangerous there. But now Ye Tian's mind had been blinded by a very good talent for him. Ye Tian didn't listen to Gale Wolfie's words but instead charged toward the monster earlier. Then a hard punch landed smoothly on the monster's head. After that, by riding his body, Ye Tian again threw punches repeatedly with the expression of a psychopath. With that attack, Ye Tian finally succeeded in killing this wolf monster. Besides that, Ye Tian also succeeded in copying the talent of the monster earlier. Then after cleaning up the corpses of the monsters, Captain Gale Wolf and his crew left. Before he left, he said to Ye Tian he wished he could see him in his army when Ye Tian later became a martial artist. Then when he got home, Ye Tian first cleaned up the traces of blood on his body. He didn't want his younger sister to worry. He went inside. It was seen that his sister was sleeping on the couch. Ye Tian then took him to a blanket. Then in his room, Ye Tian wanted to try whether the talent of monsters could also be combined with the talent he had now. And of course, it can, but now Ye Tian thinks that maybe this merging process is more painful than before. It is possible that the process could also be life-threatening. But Ye Tian had made up his mind that he had to get stronger. He no longer cared about all the risks. Using a cloth, he stuffed it in his mouth so that later during the merging process the screams would not be too loud. And the talent copying process begins. Pain again began to run through Ye Tian's body. Ye Tian felt as if his bones were being broken one by one. After going through an extremely painful process, Ye Tian finally passed out. Then the next morning Ye Tian woke up, himself still confused. Even though as far as he could remember all his bodies had been broken, he felt fine. What's more, now he felt his body very, very light. This means that the copying of his talent was successful. At Linhai Academy, to be precise the forest area, Ye Tian tried out the new talent he got. Ye Tian was constantly running to and fro. Once satisfied, he returned to his base camp on a large rock. Now Ye Tian's speed could be said to be on par with a martial warrior. However, Ye Tian's strength is still lacking. What's more, Ye Tian doesn't know what he should do to improve his cultivation. Then Zhang Bao told Ye Tian the good news. While grinning said that he can increase strength thanks to drinking blood from monsters. Instantly Ye Tian was surprised. Even though yesterday he had succeeded in slaying monsters. Even though the blood was not taken, Ye Tian was very sorry. Then Zhang Bao added that he knew of a way for them to get monster blood. Zhang Bao explained that the top brass of the Linhai base had opened a new wild zone outside the city specifically designated as a testing area for their main Linhai Academy. And the reward is monster blood. Hearing that Ye Tian is very interested, it's worth a try. Here Zhang Bao invites Ye Tian to join his team. But here Ye Tian doesn't want to. Even though he is very disappointed with Ye Tian, Zhang Bao can still accept it. The reason Ye Tian didn't want to join Zhang Bao was that doing so would be quite dangerous for training. If later the ability of this exercise is known by other people, so yeah, Ye Tian should do everything himself. Ye Tian was certain that he would obtain monster blood and break through to the martial warrior realm. A month has passed. Now in the principal's room, Ye Tian dating is facing the principal to register for the exam. Then the headmaster took a piece of paper and threw it in front of Ye Tian. This paper contains a life responsibility agreement. The headmaster explained that if Ye Tian wants to take the exam, Ye Tian must sign the agreement. After signing the agreement, Ye Tian left here. After Ye Tian left, the principal with a sly smile said that Ye Tian would regret his decision. Then Ye Yu announced that there would be school business for a few days. By now Ye Tian had arrived at the examination venue. Many people took part in this exam. The star of the exam this time was Mo Xiaobei. He was a genius disciple of the First Academy. He was the strongest of the generations of the Mo family. But like the behavior of other geniuses, Mo Xiaobei has a haughty nature and likes to look down on others. Now that Mo and his servant were looking down on Ye Tian and the rest of the Fifth Academy's students. Not long after, a student with a sword came closer to Mo. He immediately shouted to challenge by one Mo Xiaobei. This person was called Lai Yongxing. He is also a genius sword user. Seeing Ye Tian's interest immediately cheered up Lai Yongxing. But soon there was an announcement that prohibited all participants from fighting outside the wild zone. If anyone violates, then he will be disqualified. Therefore Lai Yongxing discouraged him. Then Lai Yongxing approached Ye Tian. He came here because he was very interested in Lai Yongxing for encouraging him. Even though he was dealing with Mo Xiaobei earlier. Instantly Ye Tian was surprised because now in front of him was a talent that was very good and very useful to him. Immediately Lai Yongxing stretched out his hand to gesture for a handshake, wherein this handshake both mutually support each other. That way, Lai Yongxing's talent has now been successfully copied by Ye Tian. Soon the exams began. The First Academy had the privilege of being the first to enter the examination area because the Fifth Academy still had plenty of time. Before entering, Ye Tian decided to find a strategic place to combine the talents of Lai Yongxing. After finding a hidden place, Ye Tian started the merging process. As usual, Ye Tian's whole body now felt pain, but because he was used to it, Lai Yongxing could endure it. Now there was only one thing he could think about. He had to get stronger, and a few moments later the process of merging his talents was finished. Soon Ye Tian tried out his new sword talent. He slashed the trees in front of him. As a result, now he can cut the trees earlier with his sword. Well, now Ye Tian is ready to take part in the exam. After waiting for quite a while, it was finally time for the Fifth Academy to enter the exam zone. Upon entering, Ye Tian was greeted by a huge snake. With his sword now Ye Tian jumps and then slashes monster. With a powerful slash, the snake monster was finally defeated. This way Ye Tian has accumulated 1 point. According to the test this time, the more monsters you hunt, the more points and rankings you will get. The prizes for this test are very good, where in positions 1, 2, and 3 you get monster blood and money, while ranks 4 to 10 only get monster blood. Then Ye Tian returned to continue his hunt. Not long after, Ye Tian heard a voice screaming for help. Immediately Ye Tian went straight to the source of the sound just now. From the top of the building now Ye Tian saw a group of students from the academy being surrounded by a horde of wolves. It turned out that the disciple was from Zhang Bao's group. Now only Zhang Bi remains. Seeing him in danger, Ye Tian immediately used his arrow and one wolf fell. Then Ye Tian came down to Zhang Bao. Seeing Ye Tian coming, instead of being grateful, Zhang Bao instead ordered Ye Tian to run away immediately because he thought Ye Tian would not be able to fight these wolves. But Ye Tian refused to leave and intended to fight back, because now there are many points that he must collect. Immediately with his speed he shot and slaughtered this wolf pack. With great ease, Ye Tian could slaughter the wolves. Seeing Ye Tian's ability, Zhang Bao couldn't help but be surprised and couldn't believe that Ye Tian was so strong. After it was done, he asked Zhang Bao whether to continue with the exam or not. Zhang Bao chose not to. It would be foolish for him to continue with his current abilities. Moreover, all of his team members were extremely weak and heavily injured. Hearing that Ye Tian finally left them, but before leaving, Zhang Bao gave information to Ye Tian to be careful because in this zone there are pseudo-beasts. In this manhwa, the level of danger from monsters starts with wild beast, then rises to pseudo-beast, then the highest is fierce beasts. Zhang Bi explained that he had heard that the students from the First Academy were surrounding a spotted snake that was more than 10 meters long, and it turned out to be a pseudo-beast beast. The value of this monster should be a maximum of 500 points. Hearing that there was a big point, Ye Tian's expression immediately changed. After getting to the location of the monster, Ye Tian at full speed go there. A few moments later Ye Tian stopped. It was at this place that many of the First Academy's students had died, and from a distance it was seen that there was a large explosion that occurred. Ye Tian deduces that that's where the fight is going on. Arriving there, Ye Tian saw that a huge monster was currently being surrounded all the students from the first academy. Mo Xiaobei started ordering the other disciples to attack. These academy students only helped Mo Xiaobei to get 500 points, so he can later be ranked first in the exam this time. After confirming that this monster has run out of energy, now it is Mo Xiaobei's turn to end it. He then stabbed the head of this monster. Mo Xiaobei confidently thought he had won. But suddenly the monster gave a punch that sent Mo Xiaobei flying away. Even so, Mo Xiaobei still believes that these 500 points will soon be his, because now it looks like this monster is writhing in pain. Ye Tian, who saw it, was annoyed. He thought he was too late. Mo Xiaobei with his floor claims that now the first place in the exam belongs to him. But who would have thought that this monster would wake up? Now this monster has entered the beast stage. This monster is already a real monster. This monster immediately attacked the people around it and then ran away. Seeing that his points had run away, Mo Xiaobei immediately flew into a rage and ordered all the students to follow him. Because now the value of the monster earlier can be ascertained as 1,000 points. Mo Xiaobei was sure that the monster must have been very weak. If he didn't find it soon, maybe someone would beat it. And the one who will defeat him is Ye Tian. After knowing that the monster's value was 1,000 points, Ye Tian launched at full speed. Now he had arrived before the first academy arrived. Ye Tian here found a slime snake, so he assumed that the monster might be in the building in front of him. Ye Tian went inside. Inside he saw that there was a monster he was looking for. Now the monster was drinking a drop of liquid. Seeing him, Ye Tian wondered what the hell was this. He was sure it wasn't ordinary water. Then instead of thinking about it, Ye Tian returned to focus on getting 1,000 points. Ye Tian charged forward. This monster realized that someone was approaching him. As a result of that, Ye Tian was hit by an attack and was sent flying far away. Then while bouncing, Ye Tian still managed to take his arrow. With the reverse position, Ye Tian started aiming right at the monster's eyes. Then Ye Tian picked up his thrown sword. Then he went again. After dodging the attack from this monster, Ye Tian mustered all his strength, then tore off the arm of the monster and stabbed it. That way Ye Tian managed to defeat the monster with just one strike. Then after successfully defeating him, Ye Tian took a bottle so he could keep the liquid that dripped earlier, not forgetting that he also took this monster's eyeball as proof that he managed to defeat it. Besides that, Ye Tian also took the blood of this monster so he could use it to increase his strength. And finally, Ye Tian cut off the source of the liquid. He didn't want Mo Xiaobei to get this liquid too. Then after everything was done, Ye Tian got ready to leave. After Ye Tian left, now where the monster's corpse lay, a group of students from the first academy arrived. Here, Mo Xiaobei, who knows that his prey has been defeated, is very angry because his 1,000 points have now been lost. He said he would destroy the person who defeated the monster. Thus it was too late now that Mo Xiaobei and his men were out. His underlings asked what they were going to do now. Mo Xiaobei ordered everyone to look for the person who defeated his quarry. Mo Xiaobei still doesn't accept it even though the person Mo Xiaobei is looking for is still watching him from a distance. Then because Ye Tian found out he was being hunted, he decided to stay hidden. Ye Tian quickly moved places, but now he still thinks he can't if he has to hide forever. In 3 more days the exam will end, and when the point calculation starts then they will know that Ye Tian is the one who defeated the powerful monster earlier. So in that time frame, Ye Tian had to make use of it to cultivate and increase his strength. Then after getting far enough now, Ye Tian found a strategic place to hide to cultivate. He also began to take out the items obtained. First of all was a bottle filled with blood that was obtained from a snake monster. How strong was the effect of that monster's blood on his strength growth? Ye Tian drank it straight away. The taste was so bad he thought if only he brought some snacks maybe the taste wouldn't be so bad. But even so, Ye Tian still drank all the monster's blood because he had to get stronger soon. Then after drinking this full bottle of monster blood, the energy absorbed by Ye Tian's body increased. Now Ye Tian's cultivation speed has increased 4 times faster. This thing is crazy. It's no wonder that Chen Dong and the others can cultivate so quickly. That's what Ye Tian thought. It turns out that not only talent but great strength can also be obtained from supporting tools such as monster blood. Now in his bag, there are still 3 bottles of monster blood. You can imagine how strong Ye Tian will be when he has finished drinking all of these bottles. Then 3 days passed. Now it's time to calculate the points. All participants who have successfully returned start reporting the results of the points they have collected. Here Lai Yongxing came with a bag full of monster body parts that he collected 195 points from. Seeing this, the other students were amazed. Then from behind Mo Xiaobei, who was accompanied by his subordinates, said that the point was very small. So don't be too exaggerated. Then Mo Xiaobei started to unpack everything in his bag. Seeing the amount of material brought by the counting officer was surprised, Mo Xiaobei managed to collect 427 points. The reaction from the others was much more amazed. Xing doesn't accept it. He says for sure MP Xiaobei will take points from the others. But Mo Xiaobei said what's the problem if he takes points from other participants with his ability. Then the juniors from the first academy congratulated Mo Xiaobei because they thought that he would be ranked first. But Mo Xiaobei said that he was not the one who would be ranked first because those who would be ranked first must have at least 1,000 points. Hearing this, the 5th Academy's headmaster said that the surviving students should all leave already. Hearing this, the counter clerk raised him. If something doesn't come out, then they're probably dead. But the statement of the 2 people earlier was refuted by the appearance of Ye Tian. This made the headmaster disbelieve. Then Ye Tian handed over a few material items only, but just that much made the counter's eyes startled. Ye Tian finally managed to collect more than 1,000 points. Therefore, Ye Tian managed to get first place. As a prize, Ye Tian was given monster blood and 100,000 yuan in cash. Seeing his success, Ye Tian and his friends from the 5th Academy congratulate Ye Tian. Meanwhile, Mo Xiaobei now finally knows that Ye Tian is the one who took his prey. He immediately ordered his subordinates to find and investigate the background of the Ye Tian family. But it's different from the students who look happy because their academy is number 1. The headmaster even thought that Ye Tian was very stupid because Ye Tian had dared to offend and anger the Mo family. It was possible that Ye Tian would suddenly die. Now it's time for a group photo session of the top 3 rankings here. Mo Xiaobei says how dare Ye Tian steal something of his. But with confidence, Ye Tian said that he could also say the same thing to Mo Xiaobei. Hearing the debate earlier, Xing joins in. Xing asked whether Mo Xiaobei forgot what he said earlier. Just like Mo Xiaobei, Ye Tian stole points with his ability, so what's the problem? Hearing this, Mo Xiaobei challenged Ye Tian to a one-on-one duel to determine who was stronger. And of course, without any fear, Ye Tian served his request. After that incident, Ye Tian went straight home. When he got home, he was greeted with a warm hug from his younger sister. Of course, various questions began to be asked by Ye Yu, and Ye Tian patiently answered them one by one. Then Ye Tian said that he had a gift to take out all the things he had brought. There's money, potion bottles, and stuff. Seeing him, Ye Yu was of course very happy. Then Ye Yu took a bottle filled with liquid and asked Ye Tian what this thing was. Ye Tian replied that he didn't know either, so he also bought this treasure book to find out. Thanks to this book, Ye Tian finally found out that the object he found was the Terracore potion. Now Ye Tian is sure that the snake monster he defeated drank this liquid so he could become a full monster. He still didn't expect that the item he found turned out to have such a strong effect. Then Ye Tian gave the item to Ye Yu to drink, because now Ye Tian doesn't need it anymore. Of course, Ye Yu was a bit worried. Ye Yu said even though he still hasn't awakened her, wouldn't it be a waste if her younger sister drank this potion? But since Ye Tian can see her sister's talent, then it won't be in vain. This Ye Yu's cultivation talent is indeed low level. Maybe if she drank this potion, her talent could increase. Although Ye Tian still didn't know how much Ye Yu's talent would increase. But Ye Yu thinks otherwise. Ye Yu proposes to sell this item only. Ye Tian said that if they sold the potion, danger would come to their family. Because as we know, this potion has a very strong effect. Because he had been arguing for too long without being clear, Ye Tian immediately took the potion. Then he forced Ye Yu's mouth open, and with that Ye Tian forced him to drink the potion earlier. After drinking it, Ye Yu felt warm and fresh. But when Ye Tian saw Ye Yu's talent again, Ye Yu's cultivation talent had not changed at all. Is it possible that the book was lying? Because she felt sleepy, Ye Yu asked her brother to sleep. Ye Tian was still confused. This is very strange. Why could it be like that? Should he wait any longer because maybe the effect still hasn't worked on his little sister? So Ye Tian decided to wait a bit longer. 1 hour had passed while cultivating. Ye Tian was still waiting. Before long, Ye Tian sensed there was a powerful wave of talent radiating around him. And when he saw Ye Yu's talent, now it can be seen that Ye Yu's cultivation talent has risen to the middle level. Seeing him, Ye Tian was very surprised because his younger sister's talent could rise by 2 levels. With Ye Yu's current talents, Ye Tian believes that her younger sister will one day become a powerful martial artist. And now Ye Tian will focus on Mo Xiaobei. Ye Tian was determined that he would beat him. So now Ye Tian began to focus on continuing his cultivation. He began to drink again the blood of the monsters he had obtained from the test this time. In contrast to the blood of ordinary monsters, what he drank this time was to drink the blood of mid-level monsters. And the result was that his cultivation speed increased by 8 times. But it's a pity that he only has 3 vials. If there are more, practice can break through to the martial artist stage. 10 days later, in Forest Academy 5, Ye Tian was in the middle of cultivating. Now he was approached by a hasty Zhang Bao. Seeing him in a hurry, Ye Tian asked what was the matter. Zhang Bi informs that Mo Xiaobei is doing isolation training. Zhang Bao was worried that Mo Xiaobei was up to something. Surely Mo wants to be a martial artist, then he will come to challenge Ye Tian. Hearing this, Ye Tian casually sat back down. Zhang Bi was angry that Ye Tian was too relaxed. Ye Tian said that he was currently practicing cultivation, so there's nothing to worry about. Then Zhang Bao again said that Mo Xiaobei is from a noble family. Surely he has a lot of resources. While Ye Tian only had 3 bottles of monster blood, Zhang Bao started to worry that something happened to Ye Tian. Zhang Bi also added that he will take care of Ye Yu. Right now Ye Tian was still in the early advanced martial stage. Even though he has used all the materials he has with his speed talent and padding talent, Ye Tian is still confident that he will be able to fight with martial artists in the future. Meanwhile, Mo's family dimension shows Mo Xiaobei, who has come out of his isolation training. His subordinates congratulated him on reaching the martial artist level. Mo Xiaobei looks strong, but can he beat Ye Tian? Then after completing his training, Mo Xiaobei was approached by his father. Of course, his father is very proud of him. Mo Xiaobei's father is called Moen. He is one of the 10 Presbyterian church elders. Seeing his very proud father, he told his father not to worry because he would not bring disgrace to their family. Then Moen informs them that their great ancestor will reward them personally. Hence Mo Xiaobei must thank his father. Then after his father left, Mo Xiaobei asked his subordinates whether this subordinate had managed to get information from Ye Tian. His underlings had gathered his information. He explained that Ye Tian was an orphan and that Ye Tian had no support from any family, so they are free to do whatever they want without worrying about the risks. Therefore now Mo Xiaobei orders an assassin to kill Ye Tian. On the other hand, right in the 5th Academy Forest, Ye Tian was still focused on his training. Because it looked like it was going to rain, Ye Tian decided to immediately go take shelter. Now in the narrow alley, Ye Tian realized someone was watching him because, above the electricity pole, a system window popped up. In the window just now it was written that this person's name was Lai Chun, and he has novice level shadow talent. Not long after, Lai Chun attacked Ye Tian. Luckily, at that time, Ye Tian managed to fend it off with his sword. After the collision occurred, the two immediately distanced themselves. Ye Tian asks, "Who are you?" Lai Chun replies that he is an assassin. Hearing this, various speculations appeared in Ye Tian's mind about whether Mo Xiaobei was the one who sent this assassin. But if it's true, wouldn't it be easier if Mo Xiaobei came alone? While jumping, Lai Chun shot to attack Ye Tian again. But that attack had not scratched Ye Tian at all. Then Lai Chun disappeared again. Seeing him, Ye Tian concluded that Lai Chun's shadow talent could make the user invisible. Then suddenly now Lai Chun attacked from behind. Fortunately, with the speed he has, Ye Tian can dodge. Lai Chun didn't expect that a martial warrior like him could have such agility. Then it was Ye Tian's turn to attack, but Lai Chun managed to disappear again. This shadow talent was indeed troublesome for ordinary people, but for Ye Tian now it was a piece of cake. Ye Tian calmly jumped while slashing Lai Chun helplessly. Lai Chun couldn't believe how he knew her whereabouts. Slowly approaching, Ye Tian replied if Lai Chun wanted to know, then he must first answer his question. Who was the person who sent him? While picking up his weapon, Lai Chun replied that he would tell when Ye Tian was dying. Then Lai Chun drew his weapon towards Ye Tian. Of course, Ye Tian could dodge, annoyed about this, but now Ye Tian countered the attack earlier with his speed. Ye Tian then stabbed Lai Chun's body. Meanwhile, Ye Tian asked who sent you. With his dying condition, Lai Chun replied that he was sent by Mo Xiaobei. After answering, Lai Chun was instantly killed. After that, Ye Tian began to collect the treasures that were in Lai Chun's body. And finally, the talent of the shadow of Lai Chun has become the talent of Ye Tian. After that, Ye Tian carried Lai Chun's corpse back to the forest. He buried the body of Lai Chun so that he would not be found out. After that, he returned home to rest. Now he was looking at all the items he had stolen from Lai Chun's corpse. Apart from getting Ye Tian's weapon, he also got a card that had a lot of money in it. Ye Tian is very grateful to Mo Xiaobei because thanks to his plan, Ye Tian can collect a lot of money. Apart from those items, there is also a book. This book is the Shadow Sword Book. It contains green copper grade sword techniques. In this manual, the ranking of sword techniques goes from black steel up to green copper and highest to silver. Seeing that there are good items, Ye Tian is very happy because this technique is what Ye Tian needs to maximize his sword skills. Let's end the story here. Next, the competition between Ye Tian and Mo Xiaobei will heat up, so will Ye Tian be able to get past all these obstacles and become the best?